Rabbil Alameen. I'm happy to be here, and I'm very happy to be teaching about Adam. In the university, I taught about the prophets quite a bit, and it and this new edition actually expands what was in the old edition, and so it's quite exciting to sort of be invited to go even deeper. Alhamdulillah. So why don't we start together by being holding the rope of Allah together by repeating the Fatiha together. So it's like bringing our hearts together in the presence of Allah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. So let's do the shortened form of La ilaha illallah. So just as a spreading of the light where each of you are, this spreads the light out, you know, beyond where you're living, beyond where you're sitting right now, to further out, and then further out to the whole community. So let's spread the light. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadan Rasulullah. Alayhi salatullah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Ibrahim Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. Sing along with me. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Musa Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Isa Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. So, can everybody hear me? If someone has a, if, raise your hand if you can. So, okay, good. Just want to make sure that I'm loud enough and it's clear enough. Alhamdulillah. So I'm going to start on page 22. I'm going to be reading, but I'm also going to be teaching, and hopefully we get through the whole reading by the end of the time, inshallah. So, once the Prophet Muhammad wasallam was asked, if I do everything completely right, will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put me in the garden? And the Prophet wasallam replied, not one of you shall reach the garden by his works, meaning, do not worry about your work or about what you do, but trust in Allah. Do everything for his sake. You are his slave, Sidi says, and he will put you in his garden as he wants. There's no choice for you. The person asked the Prophet again, even you, beloved Prophet? And he replied, even me. So this is a hadith about that we can't depend on what we think we're doing in the world, that it's really about our relationship with Allah. What is your relationship with Allah? And in my book, our relationship with Allah is really an expression of our soul. And so it's more like, what is your soul doing with Allah? Is your soul when you do salat, or when you do dhikr, or when you do your beads or what have you, is your soul ascending to Allah, like being with Allah in the happiness of being connected with Him? Alhamdulillah. So that's what is important to be saying. Allahu Akbar. So he says in his Quran, that this is Allah, say everything is from Allah. So what is with these people that they can hardly understand what is said to them? So everything is from Allah. There's not one thing that happens to you or me or in the world that is not from Allah. The beloved of Allah thanks him always, and he lets him be one of his children who follow his love. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lets him be one of those who sing for his faith and remember his name to be his name. When you look at with the eye of his spirit, meaning Allah's spirit, everything is more than right. But this does not mean that he does not want his beloved to be like the sword, to be the sword of the Sharia for those who walk on the outside. Say to anyone who steals, no, this is not right. Allah says you must not steal and you must not lie. This is his order. But at the same time, you know in your heart everything that you see is in reality perfect. So the walking is about knowing that everything is happening in this world, and so much is happening in this world so rapidly, and it's such rapid change. Everything in this world is in reality perfect. And so that's for us to gently remind ourselves it's perfect, even though I really don't like it. And we are invited then to go inside and ask Allah to show us what that perfection is. Now, I'm sure at some point in your life, you've noticed that things have happened to you, and you've said, what's happening here? Why did this happen to me? What? And it's important for that you then to receive the message, to receive the wisdom, the knowledge of the perfection of what happened. And the perfection of what happened may not descend upon you for quite a while. Sometimes it's years. But all of a sudden, oh, that's why I needed to have that happen to me way back then. It changed me. And look, I'm here now because of that. And so gradually, little by little, we can begin to understand the degree of perfection that Allah has put in everything that happens. Sidi Abu Hussein Ashaduli said, if you look at the people with the eyes of your body, you do not like them. But if you look at them with the eye of your spirit, you cannot say anything. So with the eyes of our body, we can make judgments. Oh, that was wrong. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. All those things that we can say in these times of change. But if you look at the people with the eye of your spirit, it's like you can't say anything because it's not right or wrong. It is from the essence of Allah, and He has planned. Everything is preordained. It's all planned, and this is the way it is supposed to be. So then it changes our position to fighting with what's happening, to saying to ourselves, okay, so this is what Allah is making. I wonder what comes next. It's like being not just a participant, but watching what's happening and not saying anything, not saying anything to others. You can say things to yourself, and you can say things to Allah. You can ask, "Oh, I'd like to understand this better." Help with Allah. Um, but it's about being inside with everything, finding the way to move away from our internal judgments about things. Well, this is right and this is wrong. Yes, we know about right and wrong, but we don't know about what Allah ordained for each person to do right or wrong. So this is why we really can't say anything. But we do need to tell people that if we're in the situation where we can tell the person, what you're doing is really not right. We can be gentle about it and not angry, but we are to remind people about what is right. So if they have an outer voice that is telling them and reminding them how they could be different, inshallah. So continuing. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent all the spirits through Adam, peace and blessings be upon him, he taught Adam the names, all of them. So that's from the Quran. He taught him the names of everything that he had created, of which the angels had no knowing. So he taught Adam what the angels did not know. So let's look at what are names. So all of the names of things, from the names of the blood vessels in your body and the names of the diseases and the names of all of the animals, and I mean everything has a name, and all of these names derive from the one source, Allah. So realize a name is a condensed understanding of something that's much larger. So when I talk about your head or your skull, that's a name that is much larger than just 5 letters. In other words, it is a representation of something very complex. And so a name is like a a um, a, a way to materialize something, to intellectualize something that has great complexity. So we talk about veins or arteries, and the nature of veins and arteries and how much they how long they are and all the things that they do are very complex. Allah Akbar. So he's given us names to help us with the learning. But every person has a name as well as everything. So the angels have no knowing of these names. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Aisha. I
Yes.
apologize for interrupting. I just wanted to do a quick sound check. How is the sound for everyone? Someone commented that it wasn't clear. It's okay on my end.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a tiny bit muffly for me, but clear enough that I can understand okay.
Maybe we can just adjust the microphone a little.
Okay, I will. I can't put it higher because it's attached to my ears. But here, how about? I don't know whether this will help the muffly. I also have congestion, so I'm a little muffly already.
Okay.
That does seem a little bit better. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for speaking up. No, it doesn't help to deliver the message if it's not heard. Allahu Akbar. So the name. So everything is in existence has come out from non-existence in the knowledge of Allah through the divine command to be. So everything that Allah said be has a name. Everything is from Allah and everything is returning to Allah. So it came out because of the command to be, and it will go back to Allah as well. The names of the world are all the names of Allah. So everything that he taught Adam all the names of the world are the names of Allah, because this is the oneness of being. Everything is Allah. And so every name he taught Adam that the angels did not know was unique and came from the oneness of being. So in my case, for 60 years, I have been conversing with Allah, yet people think that I'm talking to them. Alhamdulillah. Because the truth is, we only talk to Allah. So I am talking to Allah today. And you are listening by Allah. Alhamdulillah. Because that is the oneness of being. And as Sufis, it's like we really are invited to step into experiencing that oneness. Alhamdulillah. So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Adam Khalifah, his representative for his creation, because it was necessary for Adam to have the knowledge of every created thing and to give birth to himself in humanity. So it's like Adam is the template and everyone is created from that template. And it's all about oneness. It's all about Allah's oneness, not separation, not differentiation. It's about oneness. The names which Allah gave Adam were the knowledge of the material existence, as well as the subtle world. So the knowledge of this existence and the knowledge of the subtle world. So the angels were not given this knowledge. Only Adam was given this knowledge. So the knowledge of the material existence as well as the subtle world in preparation for the moment when the heavens and the earth would come to the state of separation. So we're talking about Allah created Adam, and Adam was right next to him. There was no separation. There was no earth. There was no separation of the heavens and the earth. Adam was just part and parcel of what Allah created. So think of it as, have you ever created a project and you start with a grand idea? Oh, how about this? Okay, so there is your grand idea. That's sort of the equivalent of your atom, that grand idea. And then you start putting in the input of how that grand idea could work, how it could be spread, how it could be understood. You start putting in all the details about that grand idea. And that grand idea is your grand idea. And then it has many different pieces and parts. And so in the same way, Allah put everything of the grand idea of Adam, of mankind into Adam, of mankind and mankind's world into Adam. Alhamdulillah. And but this is before he actually made a world for Adam to be in. He did not, he had not, he had not separated the heavens from the earth. And Adam was just this grand idea. And all the pieces inside of that. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. So Allah created the human Adam, gave him a material body, and made him a Khalifah for all the material existence. And although the deep meaning of being a Khalifah was from the essence of Adam's spirit, Adam was now to have a physical body. Okay, so this is complicated. This is a little bit more complicated, this sentence. It's like you need to realize that we have an essence and we have a material body. And so he created the human Adam and gave him a material body from this essence. So this grand understanding of the grand idea with all the pieces in it, all the millions of pieces, he then put into a material body. So there's the knowledge of Allah in a human body. And he called that human body initially Adam. And we are all of Adam. Alhamdulillah. So, and then he made Adam that he had put, that was the peak of this creation. He made him a Khalifah for all the material existence. So let me talk about Khalifah. A Khalifah of Allah is the perfected human being who carries the trust Allah offered to him. This trust is being the effective location of manifestation for the name of Allah. Okay, now this is a little tricky, and all I can use is a metaphor. But let's say you have a magnifying glass. Oh, good. I hadn't planned on this, but this is good. You have a magnifying glass, especially if you can open it. Well, anyway, you have a magnifying glass, and you put everything into the magnifying. The magnifying glass sees everything. You put everything into the magnifying glass. Okay, and so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that magnifying glass then is the center of all of the knowledge. Okay, and so the trust that Allah gave to Adam is being the effective location. It's called the locus of manifestation for the name Allah. So it's like everything comes through that magnifying glass and gets magnified into the world. right? And so Adam was that, like that magnifying glass, where everything that Allah created came through him into the material world. Alhamdulillah. And so that's what it is. And so that's the trust. That's the trust of having, of putting everything through one center. It goes out and it shifts and it expands. And there is the idea of everything. Alhamdulillah. So, so Adam was the effective location of manifestation for the name Allah. So everything that came through Adam is from Allah, by Allah. Alhamdulillah. Al-Khalifa is the perfect man in whom Allah contemplates his own perfection. This is an important sentence. The Khalifa, so this is Adam, and then it was the Prophet, and then it was the Prophet Muhammad in the body, and then it was the Kutub guide in the world after the Prophet Muhammad. So it's through these perfect men, the perfect human beings, in whom God contemplates his own perfection. He created us so he could know himself. You know, you can't, it's hard to know yourself if there's no mirror to see yourself. You have no idea. If you couldn't see and had no mirror, you don't really know what you look like. You can feel, but you don't really know what you look like. And so he created the Khalifa. So Allah, the perfect man, so that Allah could know himself in the most beautiful aspect of himself. And then the other people were other kinds of aspects of himself, a great variety of aspects. And so no one is called a Khalifa except through the perfection of the divine form within him. So it's like the divine form. You know, when we leave this life, when we came from Al-Azam, we were in a different form. We were in a different structure, in a different image. All of these are whatever word you like fit. And when we pass from this life, we are put in another image. And this is the image, this is the form of being in the grave. And when we're finished with the grave and the judgment day comes, and we're put in another form. And so we pass from forms or images to images. Alhamdulillah, there's not really death. We just go to a different image. We don't remember our Al-Azal image, and we won't remember this image when we're in the grave. And when we're in the grave, and when we're in judgment day, we won't remember the grave image. This is the way Allah made it. We just travel. We're traveling. We're just moving along from image to image. And everybody goes from image to image. There's no really death. No, really, there's not death. There's a change of image. Alhamdulillah. So no one is called Khalifa, the perfect man, except through the perfection of the divine form within him. So the Khalifa is the one who has the perfect divine form. And other people have different aspects of the divine form. And it's through these aspects that Allah knows himself. Alhamdulillah. So when Allah sent the order to make the physical body of Adam, he sent his angel Azrael to take 3 handfuls of clay from the earth, from many places, from India, Europe, Jerusalem, and Africa. And when Azrael came to take the clay, the earth wept and said, "No." But Azrael, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Allah has sent me to take what he wants me to take." He refused to listen to the cries of the earth because Allah sent the order for him to do this work. So this is important. When things happen in this world, Allah sent the order, and the angels do his bidding exactly as he asked. And the human beings don't necessarily do the bidding exactly as Allah asked. But it's like the earth had to give of itself. And so this is a way for us to understand that Allah is inviting us to say yes. He's inviting us to surrender. Oh, you want me to do that? I don't know about that. That doesn't feel comfortable. I don't want to do that. But if Allah is really asking you to do that, this is what He is asking. Alhamdulillah. So this is His order. And so, Alhamdulillah. So this is, so Azrael took 3 handfuls of clay. So Allah has often given this angel the name Azrael Malik al-Maut, the angel of death, and the work of taking souls when he sends the order for them to leave this dunya. So when the angel of death comes, you can say, no, 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 no. But the angel of death will do it because it is by the order of Allah. Alhamdulillah. And you may think, this is not my time. I'm too young or whatever. But the angel of death does it anyway. Because it is by the order of Allah. Everything is Allah and everything is done by His order. And so this is the place where we need to little by little learn to bow deeper and deeper to what Allah makes. And in these times, we have very adequate preparation for that bowing. Things are getting a little bit crazier than like 50 years ago, and we're invited to learn how to bow in our heart. That's not saying it's right. It's just learning to bow to what Allah makes. What Allah makes is what He makes. I may not understand it, but it's what Allah makes, and I love and want to be connected closely to Allah. Allah. So this Azrael, the angel Azrael, can take any number of souls at any moment as Allah wills, 400, 4,000, or 4 million. Because all that Allah has created is between His hands. Azrael takes as Allah orders. This was the first time to know the meaning of all life. And everyone who returns to this meaning knows. And this is a very deep thing. Alhamdulillah. So the very deep thing that I think Sidi is alluding to here is slavehood, is being Allah's representative to do exactly only what He would like us to do. And so that is the willing surrender of hearing what Allah would like or understanding what Allah would like of us and of doing it. You know, originally Sidi said he had been told years before that he would be coming to the United States. And he said, no, I don't want to go to the United States. This was the story he told early on. And sure enough, years later, he came to the United States and he taught us and he opened our Tariqa and he made it's like everyone has been given, all over the world has been given a chance to return to Allah. And so he did it, but he did not, it was not something he was seeking to do. So let me read about the physical body. So before the creation of Adam's physical body, Adam was given to be by Allah in his ruh, in his spirit. Okay? The ruh is the center within man which is attracted and drawn back to the source, drawn back to Allah. So our ruh never left Allah and it wants to return. Alhamdulillah. This is our spirit. The human spirit is also Allah's spirit because Allah breathed his spirit into Adam and then into all humans who descended from Adam. The ruh, the spirit, is that which is both uncreated and created. It's neither within nor without our body. We can't say our spirit is here, and we can't say our spirit is surrounding us. No. And the spirit is neither detached from our body, nor is it attached to our body. It just is. It has not been created, and it has not been uncreated. So it's not something that we can intellectually, that we can logically understand. So we just bow to the understanding that this is something we can't understand. It's not in my body. It's not detached from my body. It's not within or without. It just is. The luminosity or the light which radiates from a person depends on the degree of activity of that person's spirit. So have you met people that just seem like their whole body is smiling at you? Or you can just feel them, you know, and it's a delightful feel. Or if you've been in front of Sidi, could you feel his luminosity, his light? So that's your heart that is feeling that. Alhamdulillah. And that's the person's spirit. How developed their spirit is. Alhamdulillah. Developed, how close to Allah it is. So that's the understanding of the spirit. So remember, we're dealing with Adam, who's only in spirit at this moment. Okay. So once Adam, peace and blessings be upon him, had the complete life, everything had its life. So remember the physical body. So Adam was created in spirit, and then Allah had Azrael grab the clay from different places, and whether it wanted to go or not, and become part of Adam's body. And so then Adam had a body and he had a spirit. Okay, and so this is so once Adam, peace and blessings be upon him, had the complete life. In other words, he had a spirit and a body. Everything had its life. So everything on earth then was created because that life requires having the spirit and the body. So if you see any kind of a body, you know it has a spirit, it has a ruh. And this is what Allah created. Allah is the all-wise. He did not create Adam's body until Adam knew the meaning of all life and of everything. So first he took Adam's alchemy and his spirit, and he taught it everything. So our spirit knows everything. And then he put this all-knowing spirit into a body. And the body is very confined in comparison to the spirit. Sidi said when we do La ilaha illallah, the song at the beginning, that it expands to 35 miles in radius. Well, that's 70 miles. When we're singing La ilaha illallah, do you think that we're actually expanding 70 miles? We're sending the light. We're sending the light from our spirit 70 miles in diameter. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of sending the light. Alhamdulillah. Um, so Allah is the all-wise. He did not create Adam's body until Adam knew the meaning of all life and of everything. The part of the clay that came from Jerusalem for the creation of Adam's physical body came from this mountain, Sidi says. By this mountain, Sidi says, I do not mean the Mount of Olives. Mountain in this case is the same meaning as kingdom. And in ancient times, this area was known as Ur-Salim, the kingdom of Salim, who ruled here at that time. The mountain stretched from Al-Azara to near Ramallah and to Bethlehem. But the heart of the mountain, or the kingdom, was this Mount of Olives. And the holy mosque of Al-Aqsa is really part of this mountain. So after the creation, so Sidi continues, after the creation of the physical body, Allah left Adam like a jug. So here he was with a physical body and a spirit connected, and Allah left him like a jug. In other words, just to be, without anything. He now had a presence and could understand and taste everything more completely than he had before, because he had both a dense and a subtle body. We also have a dense and a subtle body. And as we come closer and closer to Allah, it's the subtle body. It's that subtle body that is the light. Is the light that we hold. And we can feel the subtle bodies of some people because that is the light that they have allowed to light their physical body. Because we have both the dense, the physical, and the spiritual. So let me talk about the jism, this physical body. The physical body of Adam, the jism, was created by Allah from physical earth. The spirit that we talked about, right? The non-physical body, governs that physical body composed of earth. So our ruh is the governor of our physical body. Well, isn't that interesting? Do you think of having a governor over your physical body? You necessarily think that, oh, well, I can just do whatever I want. I can come out here and touch the screen of my computer if I want to. Well, have you ever found a time when you thought you could do something and by golly, you couldn't? Your spirit prevented you from doing that. And so the spirit actually governs the physical body. Do you wonder why some people are more evil than others? The spirit is governing them. And this is by a law of creation. Every name of Allah has two sides. It has the positive and it has the less positive, the way we look at it. And so these two sides, Allah created from both of these. So he created equally, half dark and half light, and mixtures of this light and dark, because it's all Allah. You know, if you have chocolate pudding, just chocolate pudding, and nothing else, you have nothing to compare chocolate pudding to. It may be good, yeah, it's real good, but it gets pretty boring, and you don't have any comparison. So Allah, in one person, he made chocolate and vanilla pudding, Allah, and he mixed it all up in a different way in each person. I know it's kind of a silly metaphor, but it's like, it's a way to think about. Well, I think they may have more chocolate pudding than vanilla pudding. Okay, that's an okay way to think about it, because Allah created that diversity, those layers, those differentiations. And you never know when the chocolate pudding all of a sudden will burst out and become mostly vanilla pudding. You just never know. That's why we can't judge people. We can't say anything, because the chocolate and the vanilla are juxtaposed in such a way, and they can move and they can change, and we can't make a judgment. We can't say anything. Allah Akbar. So let's see, where was I? The spirit governs that physical body composed of earth. The cosmos also consists of a body. So here's the amazing one. The cosmos consists of a body. Okay, can you take that in? The cosmos, like everything when you look up at the stars, when you can really see them, if you're not in the metropolitan area. um, the cosmos, okay, is the spirit of the cosmos is the perfect man, the insan al-kamil. So the cosmos has a body, and the ruh of that body of the cosmos is the insan al-kamal, Alhamdulillah, the perfect man. And so the perfect man then governs the cosmos, the body of the cosmos. Alhamdulillah. Have you noticed that if you lived in California, you probably would notice. Have you noticed that there are more fires now the city has passed in California than there ever was? More serious fires. You might want to think about that. So, because Sidi tells us that he is in Allah. So the bodies of the prophets of Allah, peace be upon them, and his awliya, his friends, are not material bodies. They are spiritual bodies. Their physical bodies are encased within their spiritual bodies. So their physical bodies are like this, and their spiritual bodies are just huge, very huge. Yet this reality is not perceived by those whose inner eye, their basira, has not been opened. You can't see it unless you come close enough to Allah that He allows you to see the spiritual body. Allows you to see the light of someone. Allows you to see what He doesn't allow others to see because they're not ready. Okay, so back to the book. I can see we're not going to get through my chapter, but anyway, look at where we get. So now, CD continues. Well, okay, Adam left after the creation of the physical body. Allah left Adam like a jug without anything. He now had a presence and could understand and taste everything more completely than he had before, because he had both a dense and a subtle body. He began to eat, drink, and sleep, and this was the wisdom. So he inhabited the earth. He had a body, and he inhabited the earth. And he needed to, because he inhabited earth and had a physical body, he needed to eat, drink, and sleep. The first word Adam spoke after he'd been created in his body was La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allah spoke this word in the beginning when he sent his spirit to create the spirit of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. And this was the same spirit that came inside Adam. So you see, the spirit of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu was created before the Prophet Adam and his spirit and his body. So this word, the logos, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, has not stopped from the beginning. Adam knew it in his existence in the world of law, but this is the first time it was repeated in the language of humanity by the tongue of a human being. You see, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, when we say that, these are words that are of the Spirit. These are words of the Spirit that then come through the body, on the tongue, and go out. But they pre-existed way before that. You could say that when Adam spoke these words, it was also the first time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to seek himself completely. So he created man to know himself. He invites us to know ourselves. Because when we know ourselves, our subtle body, we know Allah. And Allah wanted to see himself through that which he created, which could know itself, through Adam and the kind of Adam, the kinds of Adam. So alhamdulillah. So you could say Adam spoke these words. It was also the first time for Allah to see himself completely, because Adam was a perfect man. He created him as a perfect man. And so he had that, he governed the cosmos. This is why he knew everything. It was put inside of him. And he and Allah could see himself completely. And this is why he created us, to see himself completely. But he saw himself completely in the purity with Adam, but he also sees himself completely realized in the impurity of each of us. This is about seeing all of the variations of chocolate and vanilla pudding, smushed together in different ways, swirled in different formats. Alhamdulillah. This is so Allah can know himself. Allah Akbar. And so when we see chocolate and vanilla together, we can't say anything. This is for Allah to know himself. We know that Allah always sees himself in everything without need of a thing. But he wants to reveal himself through us and to reveal his wisdom through us in words that the mind can contain. So it's like Allah doesn't have a problem with seeing us. We have a problem with seeing him. And so Sidi is saying Allah is the love. For that reason, when I say Allahu Adiru Adahiru, Allahu Batinu, I mean He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the hidden in everything. And He is the revealed in everything. It says in the Hadith Qudsi, I was a hidden treasure that longed to be known. So I created the creation to know myself. So it's like Allah is the hidden in everything, and He is the revealed in everything. So when we see the darkness, realize Allah also put in there light. But we can't see the light. And when we see the light, we don't see the darkness, perhaps. And know that Allah put the darkness in there too. So it's like in each of the names of Allah, Allahu Akbar, there is the light and there is the darkness. Because these names have an opposite. They have opposite meanings. And so he put the chocolate and the vanilla together and swirled them in his way. And so we can't say anything when we see what's happening in the world because it's by Allah. It is the perfection by Allah. Alhamdulillah. So during the 40 years when Adam had lived in the garden of his subtle existence, there was no Adam as male or female, man or woman, and no presence. You see, we have a presence, Hadra. This presence is this combination of the subtle and of the manifest, the body, and the love. This was the existence in the garden. So Adam was taught in the existence in the garden. He knew the garden. He came from the garden. And actually, we all come from the garden. That's Al-Razal. That's the garden. And then we come here to learn more. Eve was with Adam, but inside him without a separate existence. So this is the part where it's hard because of our outer understanding to see that there's just one human being. That Adam was one human being that had the male and the female, that had Adam and Eve as one. But we need to search for that oneness, for the understanding of that oneness, of the oneness of the vanilla and chocolate pudding swirling together. They have different qualities, but they swirl and they live together. When Allah taught Adam everything that he wanted him to know, he taught not only Adam himself, but the kind of Adam, meaning Adam and Eve without separation. Without separation. So there is no separation between Adam and Eve. They were both taught what they needed to know. Allah taught them and revealed everything to them from the beginning to the end. For our spirit, no. That is the akal. That is the knowingness the potential of knowingness that we know. The potential meaning that we can know that we know. We can learn to know that we know. Because Allah is telling us we know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed how many children would be born from Adam and Eve, how many holy people would be born. Oh, no, sorry, how many holy people he would manifest from them, and how many prophets. Well, Adam and Eve, he revealed the numbers of everything, and he showed them the tablet. When Adam looked and he saw the word La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, he asked Allah, "Who is Muhammad?" Allah answered, "He is a son from the garden of Allah. I'm sorry, he is a son from your body and also your father from the spirit." So you see, Muhammad is in such a sublime position as a prophet because he's the son of Adam from the body, but he is the father of Adam in the spirit. Because the Muhammadan spirit was the first thing that was created. And from that came Adam. And from Adam then came all of humanity. This was the story in the garden of Allah, and afterwards the separation came. Now the separation. As an example, so now this is about separation. As an example, look at this large light in the middle of the room. Right? From that you can take another lamp and put it over there, and another one over there. This does not mean that these lamps are separate. The light you see through them comes from the same source. This was exactly the same case for Adam and Eve. The light that's coming into our spirit is the same for everyone. It's the same for Adam and Eve. In truth, there was only one light, which is the state of Adam, without dense shade or form. And afterwards his body became thicker than before. So although it was still like light, something began to cover this light. And this was the presence of Adam, what we call the image. The presence of Adam is the image that he was put into. So it's like, so that is because the light began to be covered. And it's covered by our image. The same thing happened to Eve. So each could now see each other as separate from himself. So it's like the swirl puddings separated. So there were two swirl puddings. And they could be differentiated by the difference, perhaps, in their swirl. Because the form, the image, can be different. But what it's made of and what's inside and what is in potential is the same. So now there were two. So, so we're going from one to two. And from one to two, one is only Allah. Only Allah is one. Because the oneness is only Allah. Alhamdulillah. But it's a big thing to go from one to two. Because now there were two, but in the deep meaning, you would see only one. There's two, but you see only one. Alhamdulillah. He was with her. Adam was with Eve always. But now the light came together from two places, not from one as before. You see, the two are one. Alhamdulillah. So this is a lesson about the two opposing realities, the qualities of Allah. I heard some of you did perhaps did zikr this morning with Saudi, and did zikr with the quality. So each quality has a balancing quality. And they sort of go back and forth and they are one. This is the two that are one. It's like this is the and our mind is not made so it does this easily. Somehow the two becoming one. We don't do that so well. Okay. So mm, so because of the deep meaning, if you go into the deep meaning of the opposites of inequality, you see only one. There is only Allah. Behind each quality, there is only Allah. So Adam was with Eve always, but now the light came together from two places, not from one as before. So before they were one. The same light became two. And when Adam and Eve come together, in truly together, they're one together. And they can know that one. When they're separate, they're separate. I'll come to you. You now see two atoms. So now there are two atoms. The first is the pure original mirror of Allah. Okay, that's the Insan al-Kamal. That is the one whose spirit is governing the, the universe. And the second atom is the metaphorical atom, the human being who is the shadow of the original atom. Now this is important. Um, the original mirror of Allah is the light, is the complete spirit. And then we get to the human being who is the shadow of the original atom. And this shadow has to do with our nafs. When the original atom was given a body, the body has nafs. It has things it needs, it wants. And so when you take into account that the nafs, that is the shadow. The nafs is the shadow of the human body. So we go to, so you see metaphoric atom, right? There was the pure original mirror of Allah, Adam. And then when Adam got a body and Eve was part of that body, then he's called the metaphoric Adam. And the metaphoric is symbolic. So you see each human being is symbolic of the perfect man. So think about a symbol. You know, when they do advertising, there are lots and lots of symbols. And the symbol is something that they want you to recognize. Like we recognize other people by their faces. That's a symbol. We're recognizing their symbol, if you will. Okay? But the symbol is complex. It's like behind the symbol is a whole huge database of information. So when a doctor sees his patient, in front of him he sees the symbol, but he has to understand all the ins and outs of the complexity of that symbol. It's this great complexity that hides behind the symbol of Adam and Eve. Alhamdulillah. So it's not a literal meaning. So the metaphoric Adam is not who Adam really is. It's symbolic of Adam, of what Adam could be. Does that make sense? We are all from Adam, but we're not the same literal meaning as Adam because each one of us is a different complex um, complexity of this symbol. So a symbol then, a metaphoric symbol, represents something much more complex and much more comprehensive. So this is why we can have trouble with other people because we like A, B, C, D, E, and then F, G, and H may just make us crazy, you know. And so it's like these pieces of this complex symbol that's standing in front of us. Oh, I love. And so it's like it's finding the way to look at A, B, C, D, E, which is very beautiful, and not say anything about D, E, F, G. You know, it's like let it just wash because the symbols are complex and they are not what Allah really created. Because what He really created was the ability to become to become greater than what we can almost imagine, to govern the universe, the cosmos, the cosmos, which is what's bigger than the universe. So, so it's like He put that possibility in every single human being. It came from Adam. And so we're honoring that in a deep way when we bow to another human being. We are honoring that potential of Allah. We are honoring that symbol of Allah. So, so Sidi continues, you cannot see the first Adam with human eyes if you do not know the second, the metaphorical Adam. Okay, so we cannot see the first Adam, the perfect man, if we do not know the second, the metaphorical Adam. When you look at him with the eyes of your body, you see a human being like other human beings. But when you see the original Adam with the eye of your soul, you see only Allah in His created mirror. So it's like what we're invited to do is to see the symbol of the potential of all human beings in the human being that is in front of us. To see the original Adam and not the metaphorical Adam. The metaphorical Adam is a veil for Allah. When we can see the metaphorical, that means to me, when we can see the metaphorical Adam, we can see through our friend or our enemy as the metaphorical Adam and see Allah behind that creation, the perfection of Allah behind that creation. Then it's like we can see Allah because the metaphorical Adam is a veil for Allah. So one of the only things that Sidi, in the many years that I knew him, said to me that I should work on is my judgment, my judgmental. Because when we're in judgment, it keeps us from seeing the perfection of what Allah created, in the potential in each person. And so this potential is what we're bowing to, is what we're loving. Loving what Allah created because He created it to see Himself. Just like He created a dog, the quality a dog. And it's like we sort of cringe that Allah created something that's very difficult. But that's exactly the point, that we find a way to acknowledge and to bow to, and not to obey, but to bow to honor everything Allah created, which is the answer for, because that's how we unveil Allah. Oh, I see you there and there and there and there and there. Well, Allah's picture is in front of you right now, with the people who are in this at this time here. So it's like understanding that this is the veil we're invited to walk. Although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put all his wisdom and light into Adam to know him, to know Allah, Adam must also know himself through the metaphor of his own existence for the sake of the creation of the world. So this is a little short sentence, but it means a lot. Know yourself, and you will know Allah. That's the shorthand for this understanding. Adam must know himself through the metaphor of his own existence. So here's the metaphor. So our own existence is this small little gem, if you will, and we need to shine the light through the gem to see its beauty. And we need to see its beauty in someone else because they are reflecting the gemminess, the beauty in us. That person outside of you is a mirror. So they're mirroring to us what we need to honor, what we need to accept, what we need to love. But we're wrong. So Adam must also know himself through the metaphor of his own existence for the sake of the creation of the world. So the creation of the world means coming together and everyone holding the rope of Allah. It's like holding the rope of Allah, no matter what the other people that are holding the rope of Allah look like or are like. It's being in the oneness of our spirit. And that's the potential we have. Allah. Through all the pictures, Sidi says, Adam is the deep, is the true son of his father, and the eye of Allah through which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees. So what we see and how we make of what we see, we know Allah by turning to him and asking how to understand what we see. So it's this deep humility. I don't understand. My beloved Lord, please help me understand. This seems like there's darkness in front of me. Help me to understand this darkness. Help me to understand by seeing that this darkness is a mirror for me. You've sent it as a mirror for me. Allah Akbar. What is it you'd like me to learn? And so this is where the deep surrender comes. This is the deep bowing to Allah and asking for his wisdom. Because we already have that wisdom we know from the story of Allah. He gave that wisdom to every person that came from the time of Adam, every human being. How come we're not? And so it's just find it that way. Alhamdulillah. So we've only gotten to the beginning of page 26, but the time is up. And I do want to honor, if there are people here who have questions, I do want to honor that.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Aisha. Would anyone like to ask a question? You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Naima.
Ava.
Hello. So the part that I have struggled with for a while is kind of it's at the end of page 25. You cannot see the first Adam with human eyes if you do not know the second, the metaphorical, and it's kind of another way to say, unless you know yourself, you can't know Allah.
Yes.
And so I was just kind of sitting with, I don't really grasp that, like the importance of knowing myself instead of knowing Allah through seeing the creation or seeing Allah in the creation. It's like there's a deeper meaning for turning it inward.
Yes, because turning it inward. So what you know this what this is implying is, as we go inward, as we do contemplation of Allah. Now this is not being our logical selves. This is contemplating with Allah. This is talking deeply with Allah inside ourselves, right? And the Prophet ﷺ in a hadith said, 1 hour of deep contemplation is equal to 70 days of salah. 1 hour of deep contemplation. And so this is the invitation to go deeply into, it's sort of like going through a maze. It's like, it's just following where the maze is taking you. Inside your being, inside your heart, inside your soul. And so it's like, it's not thinking about it. Does that make sense? It's not being in the logical mind. We are going to the akal. And the akal is the spirit. And so we're going to the akal, the intellect. Now we think of intellect as the mind, but this is not the way it's used in the Arabic. The intellect is beyond the mind. It is the knowing. It is the knowing of the first Adam. Adam was given all of the knowing. And so it's really, if you will, it's your guidance from within. The contemplation is much more about following that thread of the guidance within to know. And that's the knowing of the real knowing of knowing yourself. Does that help?
It does. The other piece that just was kind of coming in with that is, it's kind of sensing the uniqueness of that akal through my individuality.
Yes.
Right? Instead
Yes.
of,
And
So-
and the blessing and the gift, because he made all of us different. And this is by his design. We weren't meant to be all the same, and we aren't. And so it's like seeing Allah's perfection in the chocolate and the vanilla. One is not better than the other. They're just different. And holding that with 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 your heart of just bowing to Allah. This is what He's given. This is what He's given me. This is what He's given that person, and this is what He's given to this country. This is what He's given to the world. It's like it's finding a place of asking, my beloved Lord, how can I bow to you? How can I bow to you in everything that I encounter? And that's the deep contemplation, rather than thinking. Because what we're contemplating is what we think we don't know. And Allah fills us in with what we did know, and we're reminded. He gives us a reminder. So that's what we're invited to.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
You're welcome. So I know we're over time, but I'm willing to be here for anybody else who has a question.
So one last call for questions. Aisha, your sound is getting a little bit muffled again.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. I just want to say thank you. And I just wanted to know, would it be fair to say that I've understood it like it's an independent expression from the same source of love? Would that be okay to look at it like this?
Yes, I'm not sure independent is exactly the right
Because
word.
like what I mean by independent would be like often I've seen, if I look at my sister, for example, I know cognitively this is like a mirror to, like, she's me, but it's her, but she's from the same source, really. Like that's how I viewed it.
Yes.
Even though I know it's her, it's my sister Jasmine, but she mirrors. It's like I see myself there too, and I'll look at things coming like mirrored back, but like I understand and respect her as an individual. That's kind of like
Yes.
her, her. That's what I meant. I just didn't know how to
Yes.
phrase that.
Yes. It's complex. It's complex,
Mhm.
and it helps actually to express it. I'm happy you expressed it, because by
Thank
the
you.
expression, it's like it comes back to us. There's a way expression goes out, and we hear it, and it comes back to us, and it like it
Yeah.
it moves us on.
Thank you so much. I have a hard time expressing myself, so that was like, let me just ask. Okay. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. So I encourage you to express what you're exploring, because you will know more by your expression. Allahu Akbar.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've encountered, just real quick, I don't really get to express this it with some of the people I've encountered, like that I'm currently exploring this with, and I just will talk out loud by myself because I don't really know what else to do. But uh,
Yes, talking to yourself is good too.
yeah, okay, cool. Thank you
Alhamdulillah.
again. I appreciate everything.
So Aisha, would you like to take a minute or two just to let us know about the essential oils and the healing remedies before we close?
Okay, so about 7 years ago, in Sidi's books, Sidi gave me the the job, if you will, of passing on his remedies to people. And so we make remedies and we put them on our website, which is inspiredremedies.com. And so about 7 years ago, I was drawn to essential oils and started working with them because they were also in CD's books. So I felt like I had the permission to work with them, and it has developed along the way, and it's come to the point where I have found I have been working to go deeper, to clean deeper, more deeply, some body traumas. And this is, things in the past that kind of affect how you are in the world. In other words, it's such a big thing that it affects how you are. And so I started using essential oils and assisting with very old body traumas of my own, which can hold each of us back from spiritual changes, leading to greater purity, which Allah is inviting us to. So I made up some personal inhalers. They kind of look like this. You open it up, yeah, and you sniff. I call them sniffers, but it is a personal inhaler. So you just sort of sniff it. And I started using those in experimenting with they help me, along with prayer to Allah, go deeper to find the origins of some of the things that I found in myself that were mirrors that were not so attractive. So I made up some of these personal inhalers and used them myself I've used them for about 6 months, as well as sharing them with family and with friends who are interested. So they've assisted in a prayerful focus and release of some of my stubbornly held, my judgmental or emotional or physical darknesses. So you see, Sidi never spoke of emotions, because emotions are darknesses, and darknesses are what we're trying to release. Allahu Akbar. And sometimes we have the opportunity to focus on a particular darkness and help, and ask Allah in that process. It's really a deep asking of Allah to help us with that darkness, to clear that darkness. So I've made these, and in a couple of weeks they will be available on the website. I have almost 50 different choices, so that would be something that might be helpful. Um, and so you see on it, I have a label, and it says, "I'm asking Allah for Allah's help with self-judgment, shyness, and unveiling." So this is just one of the ones. I have about 20 that I've used. um, and when I feel down, I go to this lovely pink one. And I say, "I'm asking Allah for, I'm sorry, um, Allah's help with light and zest for life." And so, for instance, I use this to, when things just feel just too heavy. It's like, and so there's lots of choices. And so, if you're interested, you can take a look at those. But you know, I'm just I'm just preparing to put them on the website. Alhamdulillah. So in the meantime, if you want to call and consult with me, is it all right if I give my cell phone number? So it's
Yes.
707. We used to live in California, and this way, when California calls come and it's not in our name list, we know they're spam. So we keep the 707 number, 707 225 5329. It's my cell phone. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I think that does it, inshallah.
Aisha, we have one more question. Alima
Okay.
would like to hear a little bit about the Aziz Eye formula,
Oh,
which
yes.
is incredible. I've used it. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, yes, we still have Aziz Eye Formula, and we sell that on inspiredremedies.com. And what else did they want to know about it? It works wonders for cleaning the eyes, and the eyes really need to be cleaned. Chidi used it to help, because just this past month I had cataract surgery, so that's why I have these. I've moved now to just readers, um, and it's like it just cleans the. CD said it sort of cleans the energies of and moves it away from our eyes, because our eyes are very special organs. You know, we don't see. Allah is seeing for us, and so we want to keep it clean. We want to keep that purity. Allah Akbar. So the Yazid's eye for you. Helps with that.
Sarah, could she explain the gum remedy?
Oh, tooth and gum. Oh, it's wonderful, because it's like if you feel something in your, I mean, if you feel the beginning of something in your teeth, and you use a tooth remedy for 3 or 4 or a week days or a week, it's like it just goes away. It really cleans in a deep way. It nourishes in a deep way what your teeth and gums need. So you just put a dropper full in. If you're having a difficulty on this side, you just put a dropper full over there, and you swish it around for 5 minutes. You know, as many minutes as you can, 3 to 5 minutes, and then you spit it out. And it really is, it's phenomenal, because these are ancient remedies that 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 CD read from. I mean, he would spend nights reading from deerskin papyruses, you know, remedies that centuries old people have had uh, put in there.
Thank you, Aisha.
Alhamdulillah. Well, this has been very delightful to see your faces. Thank you very much. I saw faces so my heart could open and I could really be with you, feel like I were with you. Thank you. So I enjoyed this. I hope that you find that, that this helped you in some way. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Yes, it was exquisite, beautiful, and thank you for the impromptu lesson on healing as well. We're very grateful. We love you very much. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, everyone, for being part of the group heart. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
Assalamu
barakatuh.
alaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Aisha.
much.
Alaikum
Thank
assalam.
you, Aisha.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you.